Oh, there's old Sparky.
Well, that's like, you know, my wife is yeah, she calls.
My camera shut off. So I had to start it all over again. Okay guys, we're going pretty soon going in and doing this tour. And then I'm coming back and doing an overnight. So anyway. You ready?
You're all set. Hurry up. He's not going very far.
Okay. Tell her where we went. Give her results.
Well, if you take a left and you'll have a seat in the non-contact visitation room. Well, she's fine, she's fine. Yeah, we're in no rush. Oh, don't run, you're okay. Well, you take a left and have a seat in the non-contact visitation. Yeah, we're relaxed here. No rush. No, you're... Oh, we'll have you over here. Oh, we'll have you keep that way to get to see some things. Yeah.
Oh, Mom.
Well, welcome to West Virginia Penitentiary. My name is CJ, and I'll be your guide for the next hour and a half and a mile and 3/4. And I'd have a seat by you guys because we're going to do a lot of walking. A lot of walking. So I like to find out where you're from and kind of why you came, and that way sometimes I throw some stories in for that. So where are you guys from?
Morgantown.
Morgantown is down the road. Okay. And how'd you hear about the pen?
Well, she's been here before, and she's been telling me about it. And plus, I'm doing like a little thing for YouTube.
Okay.
So,
Great. Excellent. Okay. How about you guys? Where are you from? Clarksburg. Ooh, Harry Powell's territory. You know that name? Yeah, we're going to talk about him at the end of the tour. Yeah, the Bluebeard execution and Quiet Hill murders. Excellent. All right. So how'd you hear about the pen?
Well, we've been talking about it, what, about a year now?
For a year?
Yeah,
Oh.
I searched things online and found it and thought, well, we want to do this.
Okay. Great. Well, we're very glad you're here. Prison started in 1866 and it closed down on March 27, 1995. And it closed down because it violated the 8th Amendment of the Constitution, cruel and unusual punishment. And there are 8 reasons for that on the tour. We'll talk about those reasons. The building is divided into 2 sections. The north yard was built from 1866 to 1876. And we're in the south part. This was built from 1929 to 1959. Originally, this was the contact visitation room. These walls aren't here, but we had a terrible escape on November 7, 1979, which I'm going to tell you much more about near the end of the tour. We had 15 inmates take 2 officers hostage and actually go out that front door. And so after that escape, they went ahead and put these walls in, and this becomes the non-contact visitation. So the Friends and Family come by Post Papa, that brick building you came by there, and then you've got an officer in there, you've got an officer in here in the gun cage, and he's got a big panel of buttons. And he pops door 1, there were a big heavy door you came in, door 2. So the Friends and Family would go ahead and line the outside of the horseshoes. The inmates were brought in here, single file, they'd remain shackled, and they'd be searched, coming and going, and they would sit where you're seated. Originally, they talked through the grates. But what happened is, family members learned how to wrap up dollar bills really tight, put them in drugs, and then they would put them through those holes. So we had to put metal backs behind there. This was one of the most violent penitentiaries that existed. We had 998 deaths, murders, suicides. And you say, is that a lot? Well, you've probably heard of Alcatraz. And Alcatraz had 28 deaths, 8 murders, 5 suicides, 15 died of natural causes. We had 998. On top of that, we had 94 executions. We had 85 guys that were hanged, starting with Shep Caldwell in 1899, and ending with Bud Peterson in 1949. Well, we felt that was inhumane, because it takes the guys about 9 to 22 minutes to die from hanging. So we wanted to go to a better way to kill the bad guys, but we didn't know how. So we sent an inmate named Paul Glenn over to Columbus Correctional, and Paul, the inmate, actually built old Sparky, the electric chair. And so this was built by an inmate. When we started using it, we did have to move him to another prison because people here were really mad at him. So, these are the actual buttons that were pushed. An electrician would come in and hotwire one button. Only he and the deputy warden knew the hot button. But if you worked here as a correctional officer, you had to push a button and it called on. And so what they would do is they would go ahead and the day of the execution, draw the names of the guys in hat, shake the hat, pull 3 names, 3 alternates. If your name was pulled, you had to push a button. If you didn't, you'd be terminated immediately. So, this is the Fona Stair for clemency, and we did have women here on the tour. Well, we had women on the tour as well. But we did have women in the prison, and what we did is we kept them here until 1947, and we sent them to the Lakeland Correctional Center. And we had a woman named Madeline Dean here, and she was going to be hanged, but that phone rang, and she was given a pardon to life in prison. West Virginia didn't want to be known as a state that executed women. So we walked through the pen, you're going to see a ton of artwork, and all this was done by our guys. This one right here was done by a guy named Billy Foster. This one, the one back over there, and Billy was a great, great guy, but whenever he got drunk, he did something stupid, ended up in a penitentiary. And so, oh, hi, come on in, guys. Yeah. Where are you guys from?
Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I'll say a lot then to make you feel at home.
Thank
you. All right, talk about Bob and Doug McKenzie. Excellent.
Excellent.
How did you hear about the pen?
I was here 6 years ago.
Okay, excellent, excellent, great. So, we're talking about the artwork. All the artwork was done by the guys. This one right here was done by a guy named Billy Foster. And Billy, again, he was here 3 different times for 28 years. He painted this one back over there. And by our bathroom, there's some copies of prints. Billy died in September 2005 of stage 4 cancer. And so if you buy anything from us, by our bathrooms, for Loop Creek art, then 50% of the proceeds will go towards cancer research. So we go into the pen, you're going to see another state park, we're going to see New River Gorge, and this was painted by a guy named Danny Lehman. And his picture is there. Make sure you look at that picture, because he figures probably our history in the 80s. We're going to talk a lot about him, so make sure you say hi to Danny. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask a million questions. I do ask, when we first get to an area, let me give you my little spiel, because I'll probably answer 95% of your questions during that time. Or if you ask a question and I say, hold on or hang on, don't get offended, don't get upset. We're not there yet. We'll get there when I tell you. If you have cameras, cell phones, take a million pictures. We want you to take a million pictures. If you have a video capability, you're welcome to take video. If you do take a video though, and if you put it on YouTube, and it goes viral, and you get $1 million, my name is CJ, okay? Don't give me credit, send money, I just paid for a wedding in June, all right? All right, who wants to go to prison? Let's go!
You ready to go to prison?
Make sure you say hi to Danny. You're going to be here about him. It's sad that he was such a gifted artist.
Yeah.
And he is a tattoo artist on the outs. Yeah, on the outside. And we were telling them right before you guys got there, this is one of the most violent penitentiaries that existed. We had 998 documented murders, deaths, and suicides. So, that's the north yard where we're going to be going. And this was the south part. And this was called the 9/8 corridor. Where you see it says new wall, that points to 4 sets of blocks, JKLM. That's your general population, your mainline pop. There are about 1,000 guys in there. We move the guys every hour on the hour called the 10-minute run. So bells ring, the guys got 10 minutes to get to the south yard, north yard, industries, post office, dining hall, on and on. You only have one officer on the 9/8, so you got hundreds. You all are very, very fortunate. We just had 295 kids, 8th graders in here. And it was really cool having them all in this hallway at one point, because it kind of gets your mind on when you realize one officer and hundreds of guys. So, of course, we love when the school kids come, and we love when they leave. So, anyway, right here, you've got an officer in here with a gun cage. Usually has military sniper training. They have a shoot to stop order, not shoot to kill, but shoot to stop. So if an inmate's shot and he keeps moving, he's going to get shot again. So we're going to be going on the 9/8. We're going to be going to take a left to go to the contact visitation room. So we take this left, there's about a 4-foot block where there's no coverage. 9-8 officer can't see you, and the officer can't see you, that North Dunport can't cover you. So as we take this left, it's a blind spot where there was a lot of murders and stabbings. So as we take the left, don't stand by anyone who doesn't like you. Runners are covered. You're covered. You're covered. Now here's where we get shot. Right there.
Oh, already.
All right, guys.
So we were in the North Yard, and this was the old part of the prison. And this area here was used for 3 different purposes. And for the first 2 purposes, you got to kind of use your imagination. You got to take these walls up, the wall of the log cabin, the wall of the mountain. They're not here. This was the first set of cells. In 1870, there were 226 stone cells all the way to the ceiling, stretched a long way. Well, after a few years, as stone cells started to sell the wrong way, so they take them all out, and in 1906, they put in 424 iron cells all the way to the ceiling. There were 8 sections of 53 units. And very innovative at the time, because we had 2 bunks in them and also a toilet. We were one of the first penitentiaries to actually have running water in the cells. But we had all kinds of riots. In June, February 19th, and then February 19th of 1968, June 12th of 1968, they rioted. They torched the south cells, they torched the north yard, and so they take all the cells out in the buildings of the north yard out there. Then this becomes the dining hall. Again, these walls aren't here. And this dining hall is huge, and it's filled with rats, roaches, maggots, pieces, lice. It is ridiculous. I was talking to an officer, and he said an inmate was eating soup, and things were dropping into it. So they looked up, and in the ceiling, a rat had tried to crawl through, got caught, died, decayed. As it was decomposing, maggots from its body were dropping into the inmate's food. Maggie Gray was the first 21st female officer to work in the pen. She was the first woman to work in the North Hall punishment unit. When we get there, you're going to be impressed by Maggie. She and I wrote a book about her life, and it's in the gift shop. And I'm actually the author here. I've written 4 books on the penitentiary, and we've been contracted to write 4 more. And so everything you're hearing is coming from correctional officers, inmates, or primary sources. But in Maggie's book, we talk about Maggie would go home, she'd take off her jacket, her coat, her outer shirt, her boots, shake them, and roaches would fall off.
Wow.
The third reason the pen was closed was vermin infestation. So the guys would go in the bathroom, and rats would be coming up through the sewer to visit them. So another reason why the pen was so violent is because at the height of crowdedness, we have 2,700 inmates. Any given shift, we have 37 correctional officers. The worst riot we ever had was on January 1st, 1986. And what happened is, at 5:30 p.m., half of those officers had called off duty. Now, most of them were drunk the night before, but there was some that knew something was going to jump off. And there's still bad blood. But at 5:30 p.m., right at that portal, 20 Avenger gang members overtake the dining hall. Captain Pat Glasscock was standing right at that portal. Normally, you got a guy in the gun cage, but he's one of the guys who called off. And so what happened is, the Avengers take Captain Pat. They go to the south part of the prison. They take the officers hostage. Some they protect, like Captain Pat. Most of them they beat up really bad, like Johnson, Santa Clay, Mike Davis, Mike Coleman, Mike Smith. And 2 officers, for 52 hours, they do the absolute worst things human beings can have done to them, and still live. They also brutally murder 3 inmates. Brutally murder them. I don't know how graphic or gruesome you want me on this tour. You guys tell me. We're okay. Go for it. Okay? All right. One of the inmates they killed was Jeff Atkinson. Jeff Atkinson had murdered a pregnant woman north of Wheeling. You heard a woman or a child on the outside, you didn't last very long here. So what they did during the riot to Jeff, they drug him up and down the J block, beat him up, he lives. They take him to the 4th tier, they hang him over there with a telephone cord, he flops around for a while, breaks it, he lives. He falls down, he hits his head on the shower, he still lives. They go and get a hammer, they hammer him, he's still alive. So then Jimmy Pomeroy, who I visit with, and I visit with and talk about 80 inmates a month. And Jimmy Pomeroy, who is the devil, he's bad. He's bad. He was here for murdering his parents. But anyway, Jimmy Pomeroy got behind Jeff Atkinson, having relations with him. I'll let you figure that out. As he's doing that, he's taking the knife, and each thrust he's plunging into the man's chest, takes it out, and he's licking the blade. You guys asked for gruesomes.
That's an awful thing to do.
I know, you asked for the gruesomes. The inmates have control of the prison for 52 hours, and they have 14 demands. Danny Lehman, picture you all saw. Danny was the head of the Avengers. He didn't know they were going to take over. I think they came, saw no gun guard, and decided to jump. And so Danny doesn't want to be a negotiator, but he has to be. This gang took over. So out of 14 demands, they get one, a new cafeteria. And they're going to build that in March 1987. When they build that, they put these two walls in. This becomes the contact visitation. So you got log tables. You got about 40 guys in here at a time. Friends and family come exactly like we come in. When you first come in, you can have a quick hug and kiss, and then you have to sit across the tables from each other. But over here to my left, those are the bathrooms. So occasionally, a wife or girlfriend would go to the bathroom, and a little while later, an inmate would go to the bathroom. So let's just say new life has occurred in the bathroom. We had one inmate named Jesse Sleesman. We're not making that up. Jesse Sleesman fathered 3 children there that we know of. All the artwork you see was done by 2 guys, Sean Adney and Steve Hardy. Sean's a great, great guy. He was here for burglary. He's paroled. He's doing really good now. But he did have a condition. And you can tell what that is by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's 4 things wrong with them, but there's 2 major things wrong. So who are my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle experts? The 2 major things wrong are they had the wrong weapons. And the kids knew this. The kids in the group knew this. They had the wrong weapons, and they also had the wrong color sashes. And that's because the man who painted all this was completely colorblind. And so Smitty would have to go behind him and redo the sky blue instead of purple and green. So over to my right, we have 3 Adena Indians. And that's because across the street from us, the largest Adena barrier mountain in the world, 62 feet tall. And one of our guys named Dale Bragg made this. And he just dies in prison in 2016. And so he used to be in a museum, but people complained that it had too much nudity. And so they're going to throw it away. We said, no, one of our guys did it. You'll notice there's one thing different about the Adena Indians than the other thing. The other 2, what's that? No face. We used to let the Marines come in here and train, and one young Marine decided to shoot the face off the Adena Indian. So we don't let the Marines come back there. All right, so remember, this was the first set of cells until the 68 riots, then it becomes the dining hall, filthy, until the 86 riot, then the contact visitation room. So look around, take pictures. The unicorn at the far left is a fan favorite. Look how buff he is.
Yeah.
Unicorn Christian, they're making it pretty tough, huh?
Is there a drop down there?
There's a stairway right there on the second flight of the stairway.
Look, I mean, if they got underneath that, then I would shoot. There's no portal.
Exactly. No, there's not. Underneath it? No. Oh. Yeah. This is a violent penitentiary because of stuff like that.
Jesus. That blind.
Sorry. Did you see
Oh, well,
dwarf in comparison?
Kingston, how many did Kingston hold?
I never went to Kingston. It closed before I could go there.
We got a good group. It's small.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Is that bright? Is that bright? No, I don't want it to be bright. I just want it to be, bright enough where I can see, without blinding anybody.
We stop here for a few reasons. First of all, to kind of wrap your mind around how big the first 2 areas are. And so in order to do that, take this wall out. So this guy's not here, so this was all cells, all the way to the ceiling. This was the south cell block, the officers called it, the inmates called it the South Hall. So after the 68 riots, they take all these cells out, and this is the dining hall. Where we're at right now, this was the serving area, that's the kitchen. On the tour, we're coming back this way. So you can see how huge this area was. So, this is a history tour, but I do throw in a ghost story, a spooky boo every now and then if everyone's okay. Is everyone okay? Did you all sign a paper saying you won't sue me for therapy later? You did? We don't have a form. All right. I usually ask kids when on the tour, and I had a little 10-year-old girl the other day, and I said, did you sign the form you won't sue me for therapy? And she goes, I'm already in therapy.
Oh, goody.
I feel stupid. So, I have to be careful where I say that now. So, all right, we had a big group, and they took a picture of that door that says cafeteria. When Polly Gear went home after taking the picture, she developed her film, and there's a perfect shadow of a man there. So that's where Shadow Man originated. He lives and lurks in our kitchen, and it's against rules to go into the kitchen, but there are 2 tour guides who go back there, and I'm one of them. And so, but if you tell on me, remember what happens to snitches in the pen. Snitches don't get stitches, snitches get ditches. That's in a book. If you say it, you'll get a penny copy of it.
Where did all the cells go that they took out? Just put the scrap metal?
Yeah, scrap metal.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have been huge, 424 cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before eBay probably, so they
A few years before eBay.
That's a spooky area.
So this is the new dining hall. This was the only result of the 86 riot. Also notice the ductwork. This is the only place in the pen that's air conditioned. And now, of course, we got the gift shop and museum. But this was the only place during operation. So in the summer, it is broiled. In the winter, it is freezing. Got 2 officers in here. One in the gun cage with a rifle, one at the door. The inmates come in single file, 140 at a time. They get a metal fork and metal spoon. They go to the ends of the red poles. They tell the inmates in the kitchen what they want to eat. In the kitchen, you have 15 to 25 inmates, 1 CO, correctional officer. Only 1 guy. Look how big the kitchen is. He's on the left, what's going on the right, and vice versa. Guy's actually pretty good because we have a 212-acre farm called Camp Fairchance. There we raise beans, beets, rice, cucumbers, potatoes, tomatoes, onions, corn, 26 farms of produce. We have our own hog farm, dairy farm, beef cattle farm, coal mine, and stone quarry. Prison actually makes money for the state until 1968. Guys get their trays, metal trays. They come and you can see where these blocks are on the ground. These were stainless steel tables and they sat 4 around. They had 20 minutes to eat. After they get through eating, they take their trays back to that far left window. That's where the dishwasher is. Line back up, single file. Have to show metal fork and metal spoon. If they don't, they're pulled aside, patted down. If they don't find it, boom, they're going to the North Hall, the punishment unit. All the artwork was done by the 2 guys who did the contact visitation, Sean and Smitty. This is kind of wildlife nature scenes. You didn't have any little kids back here. We talked about Sean was here for burglary, but Smitty was here for murder. Smitty was an over-the-road truck driver. And so what happened is Smitty would leave on Mondays with his truck, and then he would come home on Fridays with his truck. When he came home on Fridays, his wife nagged him. So he killed her, chopped her up, and put her in his refrigerator. You want to know what her name was? Sandy. So at that table right there at that block, Maggie was here when they finished the truck, and Maggie said, Maggie's about 5'10", 5'11", and Maggie said to Smitty, she says, Smitty, why did you put the name of your dead wife, the woman you killed, on the truck? And Smitty's a big boy, about 6'3", and Smitty stood up. Tony's in the gun cage. He puts his rifle through. Smitty's standing over, towering over Maggie, and Smitty raises his hand. Tony just about pops him. And Smitty pounds the table, the trays pop up, and Smitty said, I loved her. She shouldn't have nagged me. So on the tour, we don't charge you for this, but I do some marriage counseling. Ladies, do not nag your husbands, or you may end up on the side of a prison wall on a truck. I'm just trying to help you. We don't charge you for that part.
So the first guys going out had the extra fork, and they already got out with it. Yeah.
It's 4 guys ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you're going to go spend, you're going to take the wrap for them, and you're going to go to North Hall for, you know, 30, 60, 90. But then they've got a shank out. Exactly. That's a heavy, heavy door.
I don't know if you mentioned it before.
We did have living here until 1947. Yep, and we'll show you all the tour where we kept the winter. Yep, so we're in the kitchen, and again, the only 2 that bring me back here, one is Chuck, and Chuck used to work here as an officer. They can't fire him because he worked here, and they can't fire me because I'm a book writer, so we're kind of a rule breaker. But look through here, you got 50, 25 guys. This is all ranges and stoves. Of course, they took that out because they're doing a lot of filming in here and things like that. But there are a lot of blind spots. A lot of murders in here because we have steak knives, butcher knives. We cut them lots up in the utility room. So their favorite weapon becomes a stainless steel paddle. It was the pizza paddle that they put the pizzas in the pizza oven with. And they used to like to take that stainless steel paddle and conk each other on the head. So we do a ton of filming here. Last year, we just filmed a show here called Castle Rock. It's a Stephen King compilation. It just came out on Hulu. And they made a huge riot scene. It wasn't in season 1, so I think it's in season 2. But the guy who played the clown on it, Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård, he's the main actor. He's a lot of fun. Whenever he wasn't filming, he was wearing blue Hawaiian shirts. And so we had lunch a couple of times and took him through the pen. He's like, take me again. I'm like, no, you're a pain. He is. He's like a big kid. And he's not the creepy guy he is on TV, but he's really creepy. So, all right, well, look around and then follow yourself to the far left hallway. I'll meet you there.
Is there any CCTV here at the time? Or?
At the time, no. There are cameras now, and that's for overnight guests.
Oh, okay.
No, at that time, no. They barely had radios to communicate.
That's me.
Yeah, this was antiquated, the building was falling apart, and they had the lowest of low technology.
We were just in Weston, we did the Trans-Allegheny.
Appreciate guys.
3,000 inmates and 27
Pretty creepy, yo.
They were Talent and Ohio Military Mansfield. At the beginning of the season, before they hire the tour guides, they bring them up and they have to go through a Chuck or I tour.
Okay.
And so I don't remember Seth, maybe Chuck had him.
He's 5'8", 20, blonde hair, little goatee.
Very young.
Might have been with Chuck, but so they say, well, you guys gotta go watch Chuck, because Chuck will get you going on stories. I'm the historian here, so they want them to see how it is. So, well, this hallway right here, this is Shadow Man Hall. So the far left room is where he lives and lurks. We've got video of him going back and forth. And when Castle Rock was filming, the lady who